On April 25th, 2021, the 93rd Oscars took place at Los Angeles Union Station, and, well...
Oh! Live TV.
We need to talk about it, especially that disastrous ending. In this video, I'm going to share my thoughts on the ceremony itself, how it was historic, how it was bizarrely different, how the ratings hit an all-time low, and how it had the most anticlimactic finale the awards have ever seen. Also, stick around to the end as I highlight dubious honors by handing out some cardboard Oscars. Heading into the 93rd Oscars, held in the midst of an ongoing pandemic, we knew it was going to be different. I was prepared for and even welcomed something off-brand and unusual, and that's certainly what we got. Only nominees and their plus ones were invited to attend, and those who couldn't be there in person were wired in from select locations around the world. So as not to leave thousands of empty seats in the Dolby Theater, they occupied the former ticket concourse of Union Station. An orchestra had been swapped for DJ Questlove, the original song nominees were performed during the pre-show, and for the third time in a row, the Oscars ran hostless. Filmmaker Steven Soderbergh led producing duties of the award show itself, teasing that the ceremony would be made as if it were a movie, and when it was a go time for Showtime, he seemed to make good on that promise. A widescreen format, popping opening credits, and a one-shot following Regina King into the makeshift auditorium. No complaints there. I could watch Regina King strut her stuff for an hour. It felt less like the Academy Awards than it did like, well, the latest film from Steven Soderbergh. The main space was shockingly small compared to what we've become accustomed to, really illustrating how few people are actually Oscar nominated in a given year. But it gave this particular crop of nominees a real award show, as opposed to tuning and zooming in from home like we saw at the Emmys and Golden Globes. Not content to stop the changes there, the producers saw fit to rejigger the order in which awards would be given that we've grown used to over the years. And little did we know just how much that would shake things up.
There's a reason they save Best Motion Picture for last.
What's more, they altered how the nominees were named, swapping out the tried and true highlight reels and clips for a more, let's say, anecdotal approach. I kind of get what they were going for, trying to make the event more intimate and personal, but the result felt like reading IMDb trivia and ultimately didn't translate well to a quote-unquote movie, let alone a televised special. It felt like a ceremony solely for the people in the room, and the few of us at home who already knew about all of the nominated films. So let's quickly run through the night's winners and find out exactly where everything went off the rails. Instead of starting with actor in a supporting role, they began with the awards for original and adapted screenplay, going to Promising Young Woman and The Father, respectively. At first, I thought they were going with an order that matched the production timeline of how movies are made, which would make sense given Soderbergh's stated theme. Of course, this line of logic was immediately thrown out the window when the very next award was handed out for International Feature Film, going to another round. The Great Dane Thomas Vinterberg accepted with a beautiful and emotional speech. Surprising nobody, Daniel Kaluuya won Best Supporting Actor for Judas and the Black Messiah, also delivering one of the most memorable speeches of the night, especially when he revealed how he came into this world, much to his mother's embarrassment.
Like, it's incredible. My mom met my dad, they had sex. It's amazing. Like, do you understand? I'm here. You know what I mean? So, I'm so happy to be alive. So I'm gonna celebrate that tonight, do you understand?
Mia Neal and Jamaica Wilson made history, becoming the first black winners of the Hair and Makeup Oscar for their work on Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, which also picked up Best Costume Design by Anne Roth. By this point, it had become clear that the playoff music of Oscars past wasn't invited this year, a change that certainly won't help boost ratings. I know I'm probably alone on this, but as a lifelong cinephile, I actually like to see cast and crews get their moment and say everything they want to say. Speaking of which, the Oscar for directing was given out very early in the night. Last year's winner, director Bong Joon-ho, presented it live from Seoul.
Chloe Zhao, Nomadland. 축하합니다.
Chloe Zhao became the first woman of color and only the second woman in 93 years to win the award after Catherine Bigelow. What should have been a big and historic moment felt slighted by the circumstances and the premature placement of this award. The new sound category, a combination of sound editing and sound mixing, went to Sound of Metal, as it absolutely should have. Tyler Perry received the Gene Herschelt Humanitarian Award with his well-rehearsed speech, while live-action short film went to Two Distant Strangers, and animated short film went to If Anything Happens, I Love You. The Oscar for documentary short subject went to Colette, and documentary feature went to My Octopus Teacher, perhaps the most derided and joked about win of the night on film Twitter. After Dick Johnson Is Dead wasn't even nominated, I really didn't care who won this award, but I will say that My Octopus Teacher is actually beautiful and inspiring for what it is. I give the film an 8 out of 10. Get it? 8? Because an octopus has 8 legs? Okay, moving on. Hey, Tenet won an Oscar for visual effects, and then the contentious actress in a supporting role race was finally decided in favor of Yoo Jung-un for Minari, demonstrably proving that Koreans make every party better.
Mr. Brad Pitt, finally. Nice to meet you. Where were you while we were filming in Tulsa? It's very honored to meet you.
Honestly, I'm just glad Hillbilly Elegy didn't win an Oscar.
I could have done better.
Mank took the Oscars for production design and cinematography, which means Mank has won more Oscars than Citizen Kane, which won for Best Original Screenplay, as you'll know if you saw Mank. Soul won Best Score, Judas and the Black Messiah won Best Original Song, and then Glenn Close gave a better performance than she did in Hillbilly Elegy. That said, this drawn-out comedic skit would have been better positioned earlier in the night. Why is this getting more airtime and better placement than Chloe Zhao's win for directing? And coming right before the in memoriam that felt like somebody was fast-forwarding through it? Finally, Best Picture was awarded to... Hold up. Best Picture? How did we... Isn't this supposed to be... What happened to... We all collectively scratched our heads over why the biggest award of the night wasn't being handed out at the end of the night. Those who were drinking thought they had blacked out for several minutes. The show had just leapfrogged the awards for lead actor and actress and went straight to Best Picture. I started to wonder if it wasn't Steven Soderbergh calling the shots, but the fox from Antichrist.
Chaos reigns.
Well, the Best Picture was announced, and...
Nomadland.
Now, the Oscars don't always get the big one right, but I'm of the opinion that they did this year. You can check out my video ranking all of the Best Picture nominees.
We give this one to our wolf.
So why wasn't this moment saved for the finale? Well, it seems the producers thought it would be a swell idea to end the ceremony with actor in a leading role, a category most people presumed the late great Chadwick Boseman had in the bag. This way, they could conclude the ceremony with a loving tribute to a tremendous talent taken far too early. There was just one problem with that idea. But first, Frances McDormand won Actress in a Leading Role, claiming her 3rd Oscar. The only actress with more is Katharine Hepburn with 4. And then, last year's Best Actor recipient Joaquin Phoenix took the stage.
Here to present the award for actor, and I'm supposed to talk about acting.
With his usual cheery and charismatic demeanor, he says sarcastically, to crown this year's winner.
And the Academy Award for actor goes to Anthony Hopkins, the father. The Academy congratulates Anthony Hopkins and accepts the Oscar on his behalf. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you for joining us tonight at the 93rd Oscars.
So instead of ending with a loving tribute to Chadwick Boseman, we ended with an award to someone who wasn't there, presented by someone who didn't want to be there. In short, it was a most anticlimactic ending to the Oscars, especially following Parasite's momentous finale last year.
Parasite.
The Academy congratulates Anthony Hopkins and accepts the Oscar on his behalf. Thank you.
And to think this awkward, dry, flatulent of a climax could have easily been avoided by just keeping Best Picture as the last award of the night.
There's a reason they say Best Motion Picture for last.
Yes, Hopkins would have still won without being present, and Joaquin would have still been Joaquin, but at least the audience would have been left with a celebration instead of, well, nothing. Or on the chance that Boseman didn't win, because those following this award season knew that Hopkins was a legitimate contender. They could have planned for an honorary award in Boseman's memory. Instead, they left it up to chance, and the result was a dud. We don't have to look back far to the greatest Oscar snafu of all time.
This is not a joke. Moonlight has won Best Picture. Moonlight, Best Picture.
But at least that made for great television, whereas nothing about this was great. And let me be clear, none of this is the fault of Anthony Hopkins. All he did was give one of the best performances in his long and storied career, and chose not to travel during a pandemic because Sir Anthony Hopkins is 83 freaking years old and can do whatever the hell he wants. Hopkins representatives begged the Academy for him to be able to zoom in from his location, and they dug their heels into their no zoom policy, and it backfired in their face. Hopkins was probably asleep in bed at his home in Wales at the time of the ceremony, possibly becoming the first person to win an Oscar in their sleep, and if that's not aspirational, I don't know what is. In case you missed it, Hopkins woke up the next morning and accepted his second Oscar on Instagram. You know, as you do.
Good morning. Here I am in my homeland in Wales, and at 83 years of age I did not expect to get this award. I really didn't, and very grateful to the Academy, and thank you. And I want to pay tribute to Chadwick Boseman, was taken from us far too early. And again, thank you all very much. I really did not expect this. So I feel very privileged and honored. Thank you.
Well, one thing's for sure, and that's the producers don't even know who's going to win ahead of time, clearly. But let this be a lesson to not make assumptions, especially in hopes of manufacturing a meaningful moment. As Spielberg said, there's a reason they save Best Motion Picture for last, and save the Oscar for directing toward the end while you're at it. The most unfortunate aspect of how this all went down was undermining the impact of Chloe Zhao's historic win, and undercutting the momentum of Nomadland as Best Picture. What a shame, and what a missed opportunity. While the ceremony certainly didn't go off without a hitch, I found the winners to be widely agreeable. Despite the short shrift it was given, Nomadland was the big winner of the night, taking home 3 Oscars, more than any other film. The biggest loser, on the other hand, was The Trial of the Chicago 7, the only film nominated for Best Picture that didn't take home a single statue. All the other nominees won Oscars. Personally, I like it when the winners are spread around several nominees. It's rare that a single film has the best everything, so this kind of distribution feels just right. Also, as someone who detests the obligatory award and the whole notion that you need to give someone an Oscar because they've been nominated so many times or to otherwise honor their memory, this year's ceremony was refreshing on that front. You should vote for who you thought was the best, period, and it appears the Academy did just that. As for Oscar viewership hitting an all-time low, this was actually expected, if not downright inevitable. TV ratings for the Oscars, and other award shows for that matter, have been on a downward trajectory for the better part of a decade, and they all hit all-time lows during the pandemic. There are many factors at play, but specifically for this year's Oscars, the pandemic meant less big movies and less people going to the movies in general. On top of that, the Best Picture nominees were relatively unpopular. Variety dubbed them the Invisible Oscars, as not a single one reached 50% audience awareness in a survey. Clearly, the Oscars need to adapt if they are to survive, but nothing on display in the 93rd Oscars seems to be the right direction. Except maybe the opening. That was good. So as not to end this video on a total down note, allow me to briefly regale you with a celebration of dubious honors by handing out some cardboard Oscars. The OMG, my son just talked about me having sex on international television cardboard Oscar goes to...
My mom met my dad, they had sex.
Daniel Kaluuya's mom. The "yeah, they're totally going home together" cardboard Oscar goes to Yoo Jung-un and Brad Pitt.
Mr. Brad Pitt, finally.
The "this show is boring, I'm going to play some games on my phone" cardboard Oscar goes to Alan Kim. The Cardboard Oscar for Best Tweet of the Night goes to Mike Ryan for his slam dunk meme on My Octopus Teacher. The Cardboard Oscar for Best Wolf Howl goes to Francis McDormand. The Best Reaction to My Wife is Howling Like a Wolf Cardboard Oscar goes to Joel Cohen. And finally, the Cardboard Oscar for the Best Butt goes to Glenn Close.
That's da butt.
And those are my thoughts on the 93rd Oscars. I suppose it's only fitting we'd get an Oscar ceremony like this for the year of 2020. What did you think of the 93rd Oscars? The ceremony itself, the winners, that misfire of an ending? Or maybe you have some cardboard Oscars of your own to hand out? Let me know in the comments below. I'll see you down there. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to Cineflect for video essays, film lists, and more.
I got this!
And click that bell next to the subscribe button if you'd like to be notified anytime I upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching. For Cineflect, I'm JS Lewis. Until next time, watch something good.